Hey, this is David Owen.
And this is Marianne Cowagowan.
And this is You Show Me Yours, a podcast where a married couple talks about the movies and television that they loved before the first date. And this time I was made to watch Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Yes, it's the 1954 musical that makes me say, women of the 50s, y'all okay? Why did you like this movie? And yet, apparently, they did. It is a musical based on a short story that is based on an ancient myth about we're going to steal women and they will fall in love with us.
Yeah.
Which apparently is the source book for everything that is Tucker Max, the guy who, like, his thing is you insult women and they'll fall for you.
I don't know.
I think that's him. Anyway, it's basically the source book for Tucker Max. So this theme has been present all through society, and apparently it still works. So, yay! But there's lots of great dancing, so it's fun to watch.
Sure.
Yeah, I think if you ask any woman who's above age, like 15, about this movie, they will have pretty much the same arc. I loved it when I was little. It was so colorful and I thought it was romantic. And then at a certain point I said, hey.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize, oh my God, nothing will ever be the same. So, and the way that you are reacting to me saying these things makes me realize that you also found this bizarre movie.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, it's horrible. There are no redeeming qualities to this movie. Like,
well, I would
whatsoever.
The dancing is fantastic.
It's all right. There's like a 20-minute dance fight followed by a 5-minute actual fight. Yeah. In the first third of this movie.
Well, after that, I referred to it as a dick measuring dance.
Sure.
So essentially, for those who have not seen it, and by the way, should anybody see this?
No.
I would say look up Barn Dance on YouTube. That's about it.
This movie, the themes of this movie, to me, from my perspective, as just some dumb man in his 40s, are so reprehensible as
gross.
To make nothing else about the movie redeemable. Look, if I want to listen to men sing like, oh, la, 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 like, there's plenty of other movies where I can have that and like some woman doing a very sheepish, that I got plenty of that without stealing women and so that they'll marry you. Yeah.
And if you think that we're kidding, we're really not. So essentially, so the first note on my list is Adam sucks.
Sure.
Adam is our male lead, played by Howard Keel, and I don't know what else he's been in, but he reminds me of the type of person they always get to play the ghost of Christmas Present in Scrooge. Like this big barrel-chested guy, big beard, and very ho ho ho.
Right, and he's got that singing voice too, like.
So he's that guy, like super macho, just oozing machismo. And he lives up in the mountains, and he's going to town, and he's going to get some lard and a new plow, and he wants to get a wife. He's decided that he needs a woman to take care of him and his 6 brothers.
Right.
And he has this whole song about whoever you are, bless you, you've got to be good enough for me. And he's, like, this one's too skinny, this one's too fat, this one's, blah, blah, blah. And
he's basically just, he's like, that one's too skinny, she's got to be thin, but not too thin. Like, he's just, he's describing, like.
Yes. And this one has lovely eyes, but oh, those thighs. Like,
right.
Anyway. And then he sees Millie, played by Jane Powell, who I have to say I have only ever seen in Polident commercials. So all I know about her is that she advertised dentures.
That
but
at some point her teeth fell out?
Yes, pretty much. Probably because there was poor dental care up there on the mountain.
Yes.
He sees her chopping wood, and he learns that she can cook, and he sees her sassing to some male customers. But
also doing exactly what he needs, which is she's prepping food for a bunch of men in a tavern.
Yes. And not putting up with their actually kind of putting up with their BS.
Right. But like jabbing back
in a sassy kind of way. Yeah.
Not being overtaken by them.
Right.
Holding her own, but not like
not
owning
expecting them to change.
Right.
But yeah. So he comes across her milking a cow and he's like, "Hi, I'm Adam. I live up in the mountains. Want to get hitched?"
Yeah.
And she takes a minute and she says, "Well, I have to finish my chores first." And then they get married. And here's a thing. So he says, "Well, yeah, if we were back east, we could do this dance and we could take a long time and get to know each other and make up our minds. But out west, we don't have time." And he's been told earlier there's one woman in town for like 10 men. This is in Oregon in 1850. So women are at a premium. Mm-hmm. And so really he wants to get her now before anyone else gets her. And he says, "I'm going back up the mountain. I'm not going to be here for 5 months. And we don't have time to, do a proper courting. So it's now or never, basically." And she's like, "Okay, let's go." And later she says that she fell in love with him at first sight.
Yeah.
That's not how I would behave with someone I had fallen in love with, but what do I know?
Well, she fell in 1850s Oregon territory love at first sight.
He's a good provider.
Right.
He's got to be because he's tall and facial hair. I don't know.
He had 50 pounds of hides.
Right. He'll keep me warm if nothing else.
He said he had 50 acres of wheat.
Right. So they get married. Everyone that she knows is not thrilled about this, but she's like, "It's fine."
Because when he asked me, everybody in this town's asked me to marry them. And even when I say yes, I get this sinking feeling after, and I call it off.
With him, I didn't get a sinking feeling. So it's basically like, well, I don't want to throw up when I think about getting married to him.
But also like, hey, chick, that sinking feeling that you were thinking of, like, probably was a good thing, because when you didn't get it with him, he literally like recruited you to be
because he lied to you.
Yeah, to be a house marm.
Because he has not told her that there are 6 brothers involved in this.
And the expectation is she will take care of all of them.
And the whole way up, she's talking about, "Oh, it's going to be so nice to only cook and clean for one man," and and he's, sitting next to her going.
He's doing the thing where he like is about to raise his finger and open his mouth,
no.
and she's, oh, la, 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 la. She starts singing.
Yeah. Sings about love and this and that, and then she gets there and she finds it's kind of, I think, in Snow White, aren't the 7 dwarves this way? Completely messy, and no manners and everything. It's basically like that. Like she's got.
It's like the scene when the dwarves come in The Hobbit.
Oh yeah.
Crack the plates. Yes. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates.
They're complete, filthy, unshaven. Barely, clothes all ripped. They're awful. They're
a bunch of children. It's like, it's a bunch of men.
They're feral,
right? Living together with no parents. They have no like authorities.
It's a frat house, but like worse. It's gross. And she tries to talk some sense into them. Doesn't really work. And she goes up to what will be her and Adam's bedroom and is all pissed. And eventually she tells Adam, "You didn't want a wife, you wanted a servant girl. Well, a servant girl should have her own quarters, so you can sleep somewhere else."
Yeah, gets over that real quick, though.
Way too quick.
Real quick.
Like, he says, "Okay, I'll sleep in the tree." And she says, "Oh, bridegroom shouldn't have to sleep in a tree on his wedding night." And I'm like, yes, he should, because he lied to you.
Right.
Also, like, we don't care about his feelings. And she says, "Well, you can come in." And presumably, and if it were me, I'd be like, "Well, you can sleep on the floor."
Right.
But she apparently does not, because later we find out that she's pregnant. And perhaps in the 50s, they didn't know how that worked, but we know how it worked because it's 2022. And we know there was some boning going on at some point.
Yeah.
I'm assuming with him, it was a lot. Because he looks like the kind of guy who would be like, "I don't care if you have a headache." Anyway, so the next day, perhaps, she's sweetened up by his schlong. Schlong. Anyway. Anyway, she basically starts knocking the boys' heads together, and they shave and they wash and they, blah, blah, blah. And she starts teaching them manners. And she basically is like, "You guys need girlfriends.
Right.
You're hot. Why shouldn't you have a girlfriend?" And she's like showing them how to be mannerly and how to press girls and blah, blah, blah. And they go to this barn raising, which all of a sudden I was like, I thought it was too far to go back for several months, but now they're just going down the road
they've
to
already,
something.
and they've
so
already been back to town one time prior to the barn raising just for, I need flour. What happened to that 50 acres of wheat?
Yeah.
Do you need flour now?
That's kind of like me today when I was like, I want a Coke. I'm going to the store. And you were like, you can't go for just one thing.
You're going to get groceries tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're going to the store today.
But I want the Coke today. So me and Diet Coke, Millie and flour. Couldn't wait. But anyway, so they go to this barn raising and all the boys see girls that they get hot for instantly.
Right. They're also like, just happen to be 6 eligible bachelorettes that are quote unquote already spoken for, but upon seeing this, ginger bunch of gentlemen, just immediately throws away their bows.
Well, because the towny beaux are all they're sort of dandies. They're all wearing suit jackets and they have slicked back hair and very little facial hair to speak of, and so clearly we're going for the testosterone girls. And this is when we have the dance off where it devolves into a fight.
Yeah, it's like a musical dance fight.
Yes.
At a certain point, like at first it's just we're competing for the ladies' affections, and then they're all like standing on 2 boards that are strung between a couple of logs and doing handshake fighting. Like literal handshake fighting, where they're like pretending that they want to shake each other's hands and then struggling to see who can throw the other off the board.
Arm wrestling meets gymnastics. It's a lot of stuff that
it's well choreographed and entertaining to a point, but it goes on for about 2 or 3 minutes too long.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was fun to watch. Anyway.
I could have done with less of the initial dance competition and the same amount of the dance fighting, like.
Sure.
And then because then you after that you still have to get to a long fight scene that follows it.
That's true. Yeah. Well, yeah. So at this point, the brothers have been, and by the way, I'm going to say the brothers because their names are so Adam, and then there's Benjamin, Caleb, Daniel, Ephraim, Frank, and Gideon. I really can't tell any of them apart.
And the only one of any significance is Gideon.
Yes.
For the plot, he's the only one that. Kind of stands out and has a role to play in any of the story.
Also, do you know who plays him?
I saw it, but I don't remember.
Yeah. So Russ Tamblyn, who later played Dr. Jacoby on Twin Peaks.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Anyway, who also apparently was a gymnast before this. So unsurprisingly, there's a lot of acrobatics that go into this. Anyway, so the brothers have been told by Millie, like, behave, don't get in fights.
She taught them all how to dance.
Yeah, all this
and
other
like
stuff.
how to be gentlemen and how to court a lady. And there's a song about that.
And Adam is basically like, y'all are pussies.
Yeah. She's turned them into pansies.
Punch her. Like he doesn't say pansies, but he pretty much does.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to fight, show off for your girls and, blah, blah, blah. And they do. And then the barn that they've all been raising falls down and, mortification ensues.
Well, of course, they fight, but only after showing incredible restraint when being like hit with hammers and having boards, like long boards thrown on their heads from the roof of this barn they're raising. Like, absolute, physical assault.
And apparently no one else noticed stuff like that.
Right.
But it's going to turn into, the Ponapes are ruffians.
Yeah,
blah,
these hicks from up the mountain came and ruined our barn raising.
Right. Well, and to the brothers' credit, they only start fighting back when the townies go after Adam, who didn't do...
Right.
Well,
wasn't involved initially.
To be fair, Adam has something coming to him. That he's, someone holds a grudge against him, but he wasn't trying to steal anyone's girl right now. So to their mind, he's blameless, which is why they start fighting back. Anyway, so they all go home in disgrace. And, but the boys are now all in love and they are mooning around for a while. And, one of them says, okay, I'm going to go cause I'm in love and I'm unhappy and I just got to get out of here. And Millie says to Adam, you got to do something. You got to keep him here. That's, blah, blah, blah. And Adam's like, well, if they all had wives, they would stay here. So let's do that.
I've been reading these books.
Yes. I don't have any book learning, but I read these books that you brought. So
Millie's got this book learning and it says, go just take a wife.
Yes. So this is all, so this is based on a Roman story, the rape of the Sabine women. Rape at the time meant theft, not.
Sure.
So, and I feel like the etymology there There's a lot to unpack, but we're not going to do that right now.
Yeah.
No. That was and there's that theme has been used throughout literature many, many other times, but that was turned into a story by Stephen Vincent Benet, which was essentially this. I couldn't find the whole thing, but I found a little bit of it, and it's the Ponape brothers and this and that, except in that story, Millie is the one who said, "Go get you some wives."
Because she had the book learning.
Possibly. I don't know. I think this works better with Adam being the instigator of this because as we've said before, Adam sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of Millie like taking over this family and like becoming the like
the evil matriarch,
the iron-fisted matriarch of this. You want some women? Go get you some.
It's true. Well, I was cheated and led up here, so yeah. Anyway,
why should I suffer?
Yeah,
alone.
Right. I want some girl talk. So they all go down the mountain and they literally steal their girls. They pull them out of windows. They put blankets over their heads. Like none of the, one of them they pull out of the window. She's in a nightgown.
Yeah.
And it's October. There's snow on the ground. Like this is not how you treat someone that you really care about.
Right.
But,
you know what I want to know though?
What
happened to that pie?
That's true. One of the girls is shown in the kitchen. She's taking a pie out of the oven. She turns around to put it on the windowsill to cool, and she and the pie are pulled out. Right. And I'm like, did the pie hit him in the face? That's painful.
I was legit waiting for like an insert joke of like, I got mine and she brought a pie. Where was that at? Somebody missed that opportunity.
What's that on your collar? Strawberry pie.
Right.
Yeah. So they bring the girls up the mountain and they're screaming and crying. Well, they have to be quiet when they're going through this one section because it's the pass.
Echo pass.
Yes. Because the way something sounds echo, and if you make too much noise, it will cause an avalanche. And they get right through. And then Adam's like, all right, let him scream. And they do all scream, and the snow comes down and blocks it off.
So now they're trapped for, let's say,
until
3 to 4 months, 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, until it's passable again. We don't know how long that is. They get up there. Millie is furious, as you would be, and says, girls, come in the house with me. Everyone else sleep in the barn. And Adam's like, but this is what you told me to do. She's like, the fuck it was.
Right.
And she says, you go in the barn too. And he says, I don't think so. And just goes off and sulks in a cabin that they have farther up
further up the mountain.
Girls are pissed. Boys are like, what did we do? We just, and then Millie says, girls, I need your help because I'm going to have a baby.
Right. Well, after a bunch of inserts of like the girls slowly falling for the guys.
Yes.
In these they have different interactions. They see them through the windows. The guys come like, oh, I got a sore shoulder. I need some, I need a blanket.
Yeah, lots of eyelash fluttering.
All of each one in each girl, wavering. Each woman in turn is like, oh,
yeah.
And so there's this whole buildup of like, obviously they're all, falling for these guys over the course of the months.
Yes, and you don't ever see the guys like trying to redeem themselves.
Right.
Which I kind of would like to. I would like to see one of the girls say, you fucking asshole.
Right. Yeah.
You got to make this up to me. But
where was Dorcas with that?
I feel like Dorcas is the one who would,
Dorcas should have said,
I'm going to smack you into next week.
That is a great name.
Isn't it? Dorcas. Everybody I know, like, I feel like when I was little, that was the name that we loved to make fun of. Yeah. Because also it's, not only is it a dumb name, but, Dorcas, haha. Anyway. Where was I? I lost my train of thought.
Nobody gave Read 'em the Riot Act.
Yeah. Right. Adam's still off sulking. Millie is getting more and more pregnant. There's then it snows for like months and months and months, and then all of a sudden in May, it's spring. Boom. Except there's still snow everywhere.
Yeah, it's like melted mostly.
Yeah, but there's spring. There's baby animals, all this stuff.
Yeah, and it's you get the
and there's a sweet which the line that I like is Ma nature's lyrical with her yearly miracle. Like I do like that. There's some dumb lines in these songs, but there's some good ones too. The one about I'm just a lonely polecat without a female polecat. Like no,
that's my favorite. That
didn't need to. A man can't sleep with the sheep, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, they're all happy spring. Millie has her baby. Little bit of time passes. The pass is open. All the fathers and brothers and the menfolk in town are coming up, and Adam comes back to the cabin. Gideon, by the way, has been up to see him and said, "You need to come back. You have a baby.
Right.
Come back and see your little girl." And Adam's like, "Girl? I might have known she'd have a girl," which more fodder for the Adam sucks file.
Yeah.
And Gideon says, "I'm the youngest and you could beat me up, but I got to tell you how I feel." And he punches him, which is, good job. Good job, Gideon. He's like, 5'6" compared to Howard Keel is like 6'4". So this was not a fair fight. Eventually Adam comes back and we don't see any of his, character development or anything. He just says, I came back. I thought about my little girl, thought about how I'd feel if someone, dragged her off. And now I realize what we did was wrong, so.
Right. Never like apologizes to her outright.
No.
Like it's just like, and they embrace and like, just like, okay, all is forgiven.
Yeah. And she doesn't ask for his,
Right. Yeah. Like, there's not, it's very, it's not a,
yeah.
Ladies don't model your relationship or men.
No. Well, if you go into the Wikipedia rabbit hole on this, one of the entries, I'm not sure if it's for the movie or for the Stephen Vincent Benet story or whatever, but one of the additional pages that's linked to at the bottom is Stockholm Syndrome.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. So Adam says to the brothers, "You got to take the girls back." Not really because it's the right thing to do, but because the fathers are coming and they won't let you marry them if you don't at least pretend to take them back.
Right.
And so now the brothers are going to get the girls to put blankets over their heads to take them back.
Right. But this
and
is
the girls at this point are resisting. Like,
but this is like the moment for him to have the speech of like, we got to do what's right.
Yeah.
Never. It's like, we got to make them think. Like, how do you think you're ever going to get to marry these women?
Right.
They're not going to let you marry them now. We got to take them back so that we can take them again.
Yeah. Again, Adam sucks.
Right. Yeah. And then all the girls, all the ladies hear
like,
this and they disperse.
I stay here with you. And they're running
and they
away.
hide under the cows and in the chicken coop.
So we have an echo of the, stealing them away before. Now we're doing it again. Fathers arrive and they hear, so Millie's in the house with her baby and the baby's crying and they hear the baby and the fathers are like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
They're doing the math.
There's a baby.
It's been 9 months.
It's been long enough.
Whose is it? And they say to the daughters, "Whose baby is that?" And they all say, "Mine."
Yeah, they all like look at each other like
wink.
Oh, this is our chance.
It's like, I am Spartacus. The baby is mine. Right. The baby is mine. The baby is mine. And then at the end, they all are able to have basically a shotgun wedding.
Right.
Even though the baby is none of theirs. The end.
Yeah. Just what a crazy. Yeah. Just like. Just nobody ever stopping and saying like, "Look, it's only one baby."
Right.
There's 6 of them.
Yes.
There's 6 of these pairs. It's only one baby.
Yeah. I don't know if you know.
Right.
But that is not how it works.
Right.
There's one and one. One to.
But yeah, like I guess if they just all stick to their guns.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, nobody is like stays around long enough for that baby to get hungry and see who nurses it, or whatever. Like,
right. Or it's like, "Hey, wait a minute. She's brunette and the baby is blonde. Right. How does that, yeah.
Yeah.
And Millie continues the Ponape mother's cutesy tradition of alphabetical naming. So this one is Hannah. So,
yes.
Yeah. This is wild. Y'all.
Yeah, this movie is crazy.
Like, it's the misogyny is bonkers. And what really, I can look at this as an artifact of, almost 60 years ago.
Sure.
And there's great dancing That's about it. I wouldn't say the singing is all.
Yeah. The songs are incredibly forgettable. There's maybe one or two, like as I sit here now, having just watched it 25 minutes ago, I can't remember a single chorus to a single song.
I can some, but I've heard many of them so many times.
Yeah, like I'm saying, as a first-time viewer, like, I walk away from most musicals and I can at least remember something. But yeah, I'm walking away from this just like because it was just all generic. Like you said, like there's funny lines and there are interesting enough songs in it, but yeah, none of them are memorable.
No. Well, I think that may be partly because the brothers and the brides are all dancers first, singers second. So this is not, Hamilton where you can, put some interesting stuff in the music.
Well, and it's that style of singing that like wouldn't be around for a lot longer, even in musicals of like borderline operatic, just very like big.
Lots of soprano trills and then some bass and then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, and it's as you're listening to it, a lot of times it's just sound. Like it's not even, I'm not even making out words, like it's just,
well,
like
and
it might as well be that.
The super high soprano and then the super low bass are, sometimes it can be really hard to tell what the words kind of go together because it's so far at extremes.
Yeah, that style is just not.
Yeah. But so what I was saying though is I can look at this as an artifact, but at the time, apparently it got really good reviews.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine in 1954, was there anyone who said, wait a minute. What is this telling me about my relationships and how they should be? I can't imagine anyone said that.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sure no one objected to it. They were just
horrifying.
It was just a locker room talk. Like it was those people. It was just boys will be boys.
That's how you know he loves you.
Right. Everything turned out well in the end.
Yeah.
Nothing improper was done in the eyes of the Lord.
Right.
That sort of stuff. Like,
yeah. So it's sort of horrifying to me that this was made and it was not ironic. It was not like those crazy people. No, this is like for real.
Well, and how easily something from a story from Roman times, like slotted into the American frontier and no one was like, oh, that's not how we should do that.
Right.
Like, well, hey, what did you expect? Well, I mean, he even says in the movie, like the rules are different out here, when he's courting her and all that. And even when he's talking about the brothers too, he's like, well, the rules are different out here. Like we need these women. Like
you maybe need, but also maybe ask them how they feel about it.
My thing is like we were watching like Rescue Rangers on Disney Plus, and like because of Fish had a stereotypical Asian accent. There was a warning at the beginning of the episode. Where is the warning at the beginning of this episode?
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Like, there wasn't any, was there?
No. Like, where's the warning at the beginning of this movie that says like, this depicts women as property, and there's
those attitudes were wrong then, and they're wrong now, and you
can't under no circumstance can you trust the love that arises from a woman you kidnap. And the woman can't trust it or the man. You can't do this.
Yeah. Well, maybe because Millie's feisty, so it's
she's
fine.
she's the only one. Like she's just deceived.
Yeah.
Like she's not appropriated. She's just not given all of the information she needs. Like she's hornswoggled, basically.
I gotta say, and she gets with the program real quick. I would have spent several days in the bedroom by myself, and then I would have said I might have tried walking back down the mountain. Like I know it's a lot. It's 12 miles, he said, so that's a long ways. But
take a horse.
I would have been. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to tell everyone in town that you're a liar, and no one will sell to you.
Right.
And have fun eating your wheat and nothing else.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like there's a version of this movie to make today that is just like 20 minutes long.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that I would love to know. So this was a lot of the big movie musicals were stage productions first, and then they made movies of them. This was a movie first, and then they have made a stage version of it, similar to An American in Paris, actually. Another movie in the 50s where there's some wacky notions of a healthy relationship.
But nowhere close to this.
No.
But yes.
I think when we watched An American in Paris, we were like, whoa, that's wild. But that looks positively...
We had not yet seen what the 50s had to offer.
No. So they've turned this into a stage production. I think they added a couple more songs and probably found people who could both dance and sing. And so they added more, vocal fireworks. But I don't know how, and I looked it up, and they're still doing stage versions of this, like up to about
Really?
5 or 6 years ago. How do you do that?
Yeah.
it can't be this exact script.
No, I feel
I
like
hope.
maybe you get the girls there some other way and then they're avalanched in.
Maybe.
You know, like,
I don't, or if you at least, well, because there was one review that said something about, oh, there's less chauvinism than in the original film. And I was like, well, there could hardly be more.
Right.
So that's good, I guess. Maybe if you did have, Millie's like, fuck this shit, I'm going. And
Yeah.
I don't.
Or if she just accepts it, like in the course of the movie, if like this all the stuff with Millie happens in like the first 20 minutes of the movie, like which effectively makes it superfluous to the plot. Like it's not something you set up that has to be resolved later.
Right.
Like she could just go with him knowing what she's in for, and nothing changes effectively about the course of the story.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I sort of don't. I feel like she might have said okay if he had been honest with her from the start.
Right. Yeah. Or if you even spin it, like how she said she imagined it, like after she had bought in, she's like, oh, I just imagined someday you guys would all have houses and there'd be dozens of babies running around and blah, blah, blah. Like he sells it to her like that. Like, oh, well, it'll just be for a while. Then they'll all have wives and they'll all live and we'll all live together in one big family. Like there's like a script doctor or whatever could fix this up.
Something.
You know, and take out plenty of the stuff. But yeah, like you got to get the girls through the pass to the farm.
There's got to be some agency.
Like, oh, after, they go to apologize to the guys after the fist fight and all that. Like, oh, we know it wasn't you. And like, oh, and then they try to take them back and, the ruffians are coming and then there's an avalanche and they think, oh, they stole our women and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can do it.
There's a way, although part of me is like, this is scorched earth, or I don't even know what don't even try.
Yeah. Listen, community theater directors, I'm available. Okay. ysmypodcasts@gmail.com. I will give you a clean version of this, which will make you, able to sleep at night.
Yeah. And if you think, oh, we don't have any women who could play feisty. Yes, you do.
Sure. Yes.
You got some women who can throw punches. And let me tell you, women throwing punches is what this story needs.
Yes.
A lot. Get some fight choreography. We're going to have some good, feet to the groin. Like these men deserve this.
But we're going to Ghostbusters it. It's 7 grooms for 7 sisters. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's
true. And maybe that's it. Yeah. You just give me that
guy.
bend.
What's his name that did all of those movies with the Ghostbusters lady?
I don't know. Yeah.
Is that guy Kevin something?
I thought it was Paul.
Paul Feig. Paul Feig.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't
Give
know.
me that guy. Although has he been disgraced? I don't know.
Hard to keep track.
They all
anymore.
are eventually. Yeah. Give me that guy, and we will write. And give me what's her name?
I don't know.
The one from Saturday Night Live that's in all of his movies.
Kate.
Kristen.
Oh, Kristen
Wiig. Yeah. There you go. That was what I was looking for. And the other lady.
You know who needs to be the Atom is Leslie Jones.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Just
give me the cast of Ghostbusters 2014 or whatever year that was.
Millie is gonna be Colin Jost. Because wasn't that
Perfect.
a thing that they had?
Yes,
skit
they
where
had
she had a yeah.
Or there was somebody else. There was. But yeah. Give me that, or I want like Chris Hemsworth as Millie or something.
Yeah.
Give me like I said, give me the whole whole cast of that Ghostbusters movie, and we'll do this up.
But seriously, if you keep the traditional gender stuff, how do you make this without it being offensive? Where there's no misogyny in it left. I don't even know.
I think the better question is, why do you do that?
Well, yes, that
right.
too.
Like, why do you redeem something like this that seems so far beyond redemption? Like, on the one hand, I get the idea. Like, I feel like there's a world where you can use the source material, like the original Roman story, to do something, to put a spin on it. But like, if that story is your basis for everything, like the main focus of what you're telling from that needs to be how wrong all that was.
It needs to be a fresh.
It doesn't need to be effectively glorifying.
So I was just listening to something on a podcast today about sort of the history of film, of Jane Austen on film. And there have been a lot of straight adaptations of her novels, but then there's things like Clueless and Bridget Jones' Diary.
Sure.
And then there's this new movie that I haven't seen, Fire Island, that are looser adaptations of her movies. I think you might need that kind of a thing. You need a Clueless instead of a straight Emma that sticks to the plot.
Yeah, it's like when you watch a movie and then they go, "Hey, did you know this was based on Othello?"
Yeah. And you're like, "Oh, I see it now."
Yeah, I see it now. Yeah.
But it's enjoyable on its own and it's not quite as troubling. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have to be something like that for sure. Yeah, but this is a freaky, like, I don't know why you put me through this. Like, honestly.
Well,
I feel like you should be ashamed that this movie was on your, like, you should want to run from this. Like, if I brought this up, you should be like, no, that movie's horrible. I would never like that. Even as a teen, I knew something was off about this movie when I saw it.
Well, I got to say, it took me, I was probably in my 20s before I was like, hey, what's going on there?
As a person who has been an apologist for all sorts of, like, objectively bad, like, reprehensible stuff, I 100% get it. Like even those episodes of Rescue Ranger, like going, that the Siamese cats in the Lady and the Tramp aren't so bad. Like, yeah, they are.
There were, we watched that recently too, and that also has the warning, like the stereotypes were bad then and they're bad now. And I was like, I kind of like the cats, and then I was like, I forgot about the teeth.
What's wrong with those crows in Dumbo?
What
are you talking about? There's like over the years I've tried to be an apologist for some pretty janky stuff, but like this is just like, but I get it. At the same time, I get it. Like this is the power of nostalgia in a lot of ways. And I think the key with nostalgia is, I've mentioned a few different times, there was a point where I was going to do a podcast with a friend of mine that effectively spawned this podcast when that didn't happen. And it was going to be called Burdened by Nostalgia. And that's the concept that I'm talking about here. So often we're burdened by our nostalgia for something to the point that we are blind to it, to the legitimate criticisms of it. Not just like, Buckaroo Banzai is a bad movie. Like, yeah, but it's so much fun. Like, this is not like, this has horrible gender politics in it.
This is,
Like, but the songs and the dancing.
And I think there's like quality bad and then there's morally bad. Like, The Cutting Edge, not a good movie quality-wise, but I adore it, and I will stand up for it again to anybody. So, and we're going to talk about it at some point. But this is not The Cutting Edge. Like, this is there's some parts that are quite good, morally, it's just
right. And I think that's the thing that you have to do as a person is be like, I only have so many of these where I can like come up with a good defense of something that's otherwise reprehensible. Is this the one I'm using this token on right now when I only have 5 tokens in my pocket?
Let me tell you, I don't eat Chick-fil-A sandwiches and I'm not going to watch this again.
Right.
But no, the reason that I put this on the list was when we watched Brigadoon a couple episodes ago. While reading the background of that, it turned out that these two leads, Howard Keel and Jane Powell, were up for the leads in Brigadoon. Can you imagine Howard Keel in the Gene Kelly role? I can't.
I would say no, because there's just a thing that Gene Kelly has about him that like defines a character that he plays. It would be like, can you imagine anybody else, taking Jack Nicholson's role in The Shining or A Few Good Men or whatever? Like, there's just something that he brings to a role.
He's silky,
and imparts into a character.
And Howard Keel is made out of lumber.
Right. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can't see that at all.
He is much better cast as this sort of stony, man's man than he would have been as this sensitive, sort of guy that's in Brigadoon for sure.
Because as we've seen, and now I'm conflating actor and character, and that's not fair. But as we've seen, Adam is like, one woman is pretty much the same as another. Whereas that's the whole Gene Kelly problem in Brigadoon is he's like, this fiance I have, she's great, but she's not great. And I want this other one, but I learned that in my reading. But these two movies were made by the same studio. And they took money from this to put toward Brigadoon because they thought that Brigadoon was going to do better and it deserved a bigger budget. I can't tell a budget for a movie by looking at it, but this, I mean, just strictly in terms of, can you imagine the insurance they had on these people? Like they're doing flips and they're at heights and, you know, lots of stuff.
Yeah, all the dancing stuff.
Yeah. So, and then they had to go to Idaho to film the avalanche scene. Like,
that's weird.
It was a legit mountain pass.
It looks 100% like a model.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
When there's a part
like
where
a
you can
miniature.
see like a CGI thing, but
not CGI, but I know what you mean.
but not CGI. You know, 50s version CGI.
Yeah. The special effects in this are pretty time and place.
Yes.
There's a lot of where they weren't doing green screen yet. That didn't exist, but they would basically just project film behind the actors.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're, you know, you get these long shots, and sometimes the long shots got a little too close where you could clearly see like, those are not the actors in that buggy. And then
yes. Oh, I noticed that.
Cut to
the pass.
Yeah, you cut to the insert shot and, you know, it was, you know, and it's them with just basically a movie playing behind them. It's very...
Oh, yeah, like when they're in the wagon on the way up.
Yes,
I was looking at the back like, that's not the same.
Yeah, it's just early special effects. And it's, you know, it's charming to a certain degree. A lot of matte paintings, you know, where like a large portion of the mountains and stuff in the background are just a painting, which it looks good. Like it's not, or just a set sometimes. Like I think when she does her first song, like when they stop to water the horses after they got married on the way back, you know, that's all like a set and like a backdrop and stuff. But like it sells it and it looks good and it, you know, it all works. But yeah, as far as like the money, yeah, it's hard to tell because I think probably you got more like, well, we just got to do more stuff at the house. You know, we got to just do more, you know, we've got to limit our effects. We got to limit our number of sets. We got to limit, you know, and then you could get a little more something out of the Brigadoon stuff. And I imagine some of the special effects with like the village fading in and out and just the whole village, all the sets that they built for that were probably way more expensive than the stuff.
But, you know, they saved money by not having an actor to play Mr. Forsyth. So.
Okay. That's true.
That's callback.
Thank you.
To our special episode, Conversations Between Mr. Forsyth and God.
Yes. Oh, hey,
anyway,
you know what?
Yes, what?
Speaking of special episodes.
Yes.
We both forgot what
That's
episode
true.
this is.
We did forgot. We forgot. We did forgot. What in the world? Yeah. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Tell them.
For anybody who's keeping track, this is episode number 50.
Woohoo!
Probably something that we should have said at the top of the episode. We are doing nothing special at all for it.
Not even picking a good movie to talk about.
Yes.
No.
not even like, oh, this has some, like we talked about, oh, hey, you know, there's this first movie we ever watched together. Maybe we could go revisit that for the 50th episode or something.
Whoops.
Not just.
It wasn't this.
We were just so, you know, pounding out these episodes and, you know, so quickly to try to get through, you know, to try to get things built up. So
maybe
we had a backlog.
For 100.
Yeah, maybe for the 100.
2 years is coming up in a little bit.
Something like, we'll find a reason to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, this is episode 50.
Yeah.
Congratulations for making it this far.
Yes. And yay you for persevering with us. Yes. We appreciate it. So.
And I also had all sorts of thoughts about like, hey, you know, we've been at this for a while. We get like a non-zero amount of people that aren't us or our parents listening to this and our relatives listening to this. Maybe we should get like a real theme song or some like professional art for the podcast, you know, like to add some. I just didn't get off my butt and initiate any of that.
That is a theme of both of our lives, I have to say. Like that's a good idea. We should do that. Time passes. Yeah. We're not like Adam Pontby, who kind of wakes up in the morning and is like, I'm gonna get a wife.
Right.
And 12 hours later brings one home.
I'm going to get a professionally created podcast theme today and has one, 10 hours later.
Yeah, no, perhaps that's the lesson that we should take. We should all be more like Adam.
More like Adam.
When it comes to getting things done, not when it comes to
motivations.
Yeah.
His motivation level, not his motivations.
No, not his actions.
But his level of get her doneism.
No, yeah, that's true. Adam doesn't have ADD.
No, apparently not.
No.
So
anyway,
what else we got?
I think we covered it. Like,
but yeah, Brigadoon definitely the superior movie.
Yes.
Like I think this one was a bigger hit.
Yeah.
At the time, But yeah, Brigadoon, better songs, like better. There's not a lot of dancing, but you know, like I'll give this one the nod for dancing. That's the one thing in its favor.
Yeah, I would say, look up the barn scene on YouTube or something. That's worth doing. But yeah, don't really watch the rest of this. Like we gave you a full play-by-play of the plot, so you don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
Although I would be interested to read the Stephen Vincent Benet story. Apparently, it's very short, and they had to add a lot to this to make a full movie. So I would like to see how that goes, but yeah, I don't know. Adam Pontopy sucks. If you at any point in your life do something and you're like, that's exactly what Adam Pontopy would do, don't continue any further.
Yeah. Or if you ever find yourself with that mustache.
Oh God, yeah, that was bad. Yeah, he looked better before he shaved.
Yeah, with the beard. Yeah. Like I don't get like I am a bearded man and have been for most of our relationship. I don't get the beard shade here. Like.
Yeah, and all the brothers, they've got this really unkempt facial hair, and she says, "Oh, you need to wash and shave," and some of them end up clean shaven, and some of them have just sketchy mustaches.
A couple of them have mustaches. One of them has like a Van Dyke.
Yeah,
like
Van Dyke's okay, but just a mustache on his own, not okay.
Yeah. So no one ever watched this movie.
No,
ever again. Yeah, watch clips of it on YouTube. That probably doesn't pay anybody associated with the movie.
Also, I had this on my notes. I think I mentioned it in passing, but just to be clear, it should not take you fathering a daughter to realize that women have value and should be treated respectfully.
Yeah.
If it does, you're a garbage person.
Right.
You can maybe redeem yourself, but you're really starting from behind.
But that's also true of everything, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't need someone in your life to be touched by gun violence or poverty or a cancer or disease that wasn't their fault, that was due to the negligence of someone else. You shouldn't need someone in your life directly connected to you to experience something. You know, empathy is like the thing that makes us human and separates us from the animals. Not all the animals. Some of them do have empathy, but to display empathy. But yeah, like. You shouldn't need that. Well, now that I've got a daughter, I will realize maybe these women do deserve some rights. You know, like maybe they're not property. Like that's
maybe
not
I shouldn't be like Tucker Max and neg them.
Right.
Yeah. Also, on the other side of things, if you are cheated into marrying somebody, don't sleep with them.
Right. And don't just like, well, I guess I'm here now. Might as well just cook and clean for 7 men.
Nope.
Because that's like she throws a switch. Yeah. She is up before the rooster crows, has taken all these guys' clothes and washed them and hung them out. She's cooked them a huge breakfast.
So it's with a washboard. Right. And, this is not like put it on spin cycle.
Yeah, she's got him a huge breakfast. She's cleaned up the place.
Yeah. Here's my question there. How in the world do people get up that early in a time before alarm clocks? I have an alarm clock, and it is hard to get me out of bed by 7 a.m. She was probably up way before that.
Yeah, well, so I can, I have an internal alarm clock. Most days I wake up minutes before my alarm. Sometimes 10, 15 minutes before.
Is that your body just anticipating it, though? Like, if you had never had an alarm clock, would you be able to do that?
I don't know, maybe. But, I kind of just tell myself, because then I don't, I do now because I have to get up at a specific time every day. But before that, I could shut that off on the weekends. Just kind of like right before I go to bed, I just think like, all right, I got to be up at 8 in order to get in the shower, to get here, to leave here by 9, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, on the weekends I just go, hey, I can sleep in tomorrow, and then I go to bed and I sleep till I wake up.
All right.
I don't know if that's but yeah, I think some of it too is just it was miserable back then. Like if you were in the bed and the moment the sun came up, you were probably too hot to tolerate it anymore, and you were just like, oh God, I got to wake up, I got to get out of here.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think some people just have that gift, and some people just can't sleep when the sun comes up. I mean, supposedly we're supposed to be wired as humans.
I do not
to wake
have
up with
problem.
the sun, but
we don't. Folks, if you are, in fact, a backwoodsman from the 1850s and you can wake up early without an alarm clock, please let us know how you do it. We can have you on the podcast. You can give lessons in how to do it. But seriously, we would love to know what you think about Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Do you think Adam sucks? And what is his worst moment? There are so many to choose from. It's hard to decide. Have you seen this? Did you watch it against our recommendation? I don't know. Tell us what you think. You can drop us a line or you can tweet at us where our handle is the same for Twitter and Facebook and email. It's YSMY Podcast, YSMY for You Show Me Yours. Twitter, Facebook, and then our email is at gmail.com. We would love it if you would download our other episodes, past or future. We're on all of your major podcast providers, specifically Apple Podcasts. And while you're there, you can rate and review the podcast, and you can subscribe so that you will get our future episodes right in your queue. We have new episodes every other Wednesday. So 2 weeks from today, no matter when you're listening, there'll be a new episode right in your queue. And 2 weeks from today, Dave is hosting. What are we listening to next time, Dave?
Well, it's been a little while since we've had Will on the show. So I thought I should pick a movie that will get him on the show.
Okay.
And so I picked my childhood, my favorite childhood animal movie, which there are many. If you're a child of the 80s, there are many animal movies.
There were a lot of animals.
From the 80s and 90s, tons of movies starring animals. My favorite one, though, Milo and Otis.
Otis.
We had a dog named Otis, actually. He was not a pug.
R.I.P. Otis.
Or whatever this dog is. So yes, R.I.P. Otis. But yeah, so Milo and Otis, and we'll have Will around to give us his opinion on it, and it'll be fun. Dudley Moore, powerhouse performance by Dudley Moore.
Really?
Yes, just
Okay.
he does all the voices. He bounds and leaps. It's wonderful.
Okay. All right. I must have different associations with Dudley Moore because cute animals are not what
They're
I
not-
think of.
This is the Dudley Moore. Dudley Moore, as you've never seen him before.
Okay.
Milo and Otis.
There's no Bo Derek in this.
No, not in this one.
That's okay. All right. Well, this will be a new version of Dudley Moore for me. So tune in next time for the adventures of Milo and Otis. And this has been You Show Me Yours. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye. The You Show Me Yours theme song is Uplifting Electronic Indie by Winnie the Moog from filmmusic.io.